In this section, you will learn some important general ledger features such as chart of accounts, company code specific settings, account groups, reconciliation accounts, and transaction figures. Let's first start with chart of accounts. The chart of accounts is the list of all general ledger accounts that can be used by one or more company codes. It is one of the first organizational elements that should be finalized in a company implementing SAP. The chart of accounts is the foundation for its reporting and posting activities. Let's take a look at the chart of accounts in use in the IDAS system. The IDAS systems are SAP internal demo systems that are used for training purposes. The IDAS company codes use the following chart of accounts. INT is used by company codes 1000, 2000, 2100, 2300 and 6000. CAUS is used by company codes 3000 and 4000. CAFR is used by company code 2200 and CAJP is used by company code 5000. In the next slide, let's learn why it is important to create company code specific settings. First, the account definition at the chart of accounts level has to be maintained before one can use an account in a company code. Then the company code specific settings have to be created. These settings are only valid in the company code. For example, the account currency defined for the company code. The image here depicts the basic company code specific settings. Most of the accounts in the company code 1000 use the UNI currency, whereas company code 3000 uses USD for most of its accounts. Let's move on and understand about account groups. General ledger accounts are organized into account groups. The account group is a summary of accounts based on criteria that affects how master records are created. The account group determines the number interval from which the account number is selected when a general ledger account is created, and the screen layout for creating general ledger accounts in the company code specific area. As depicted in this image on the slide, these account groups help in managing a large number of general ledger accounts. The accounts of an account group normally have similar business functions. For example, there can be an account group for cash accounts, one for expense accounts, one for revenue accounts, and one for other balance sheet accounts, and so on. Now let's take a look at some of the important features of general ledger. For example, the reconciliation accounts. Reconciliation accounts are general ledger accounts that receive postings from subsidiary ledgers in real time. This means that a posting to a subsidiary ledger also posts to the corresponding reconciliation account in the general ledger at the same time. The subsidiary ledgers, which are connected to the general ledger via reconciliation accounts, are the accounts payable, also referred to as AP, accounts receivable, AR, and asset ledgers. Now let's move on and have a look at transaction figures. Another important feature of general ledger accounts is the transaction figure. A transaction figure is the total of all debit and credit postings. In general, the R3 system keeps one transaction figure for debits and one transaction figure for credits per account. And the financial statements for the company code are calculated using these transactional figures. While using business areas, transaction figures are also kept per business area, as depicted in the diagram on this slide. If a financial statement for the business area is created, the transaction figures for that specific business area are used to supply the information for the financial statements. This is pretty easy stuff, and you have reached the end of this section on important general ledger features. The next section will give you an overview of subledgers.